This is DS Yak Summer, and this is another episode of The Spectre. It's Halloween, that time of year. I would probably normally do like a review of a horror movie. I was going to do, and I will do that. This video is about something that I really don't like talking about, but it's just been annoying the fuck out of me. And I don't like to go after, I'm a liberal first and foremost. I've been so pretty much my whole life, always been, pro equal rights, gay marriage, equal pay for women, universal health care, all of these things, whatever that is. However, I'm not really liberal enough for, I guess, everyone else anymore. I would say particularly people of a, just getting out of college or whatever. I was commenting on like social media, let's just say. We all know it's Facebook, which is the pretty much the fall of Western civilization as far as I'm concerned. So I posted on this insidious platform because there's some ads for certain apps, which it was an app in this particular case, which was to help women particularly, but basically anybody, if they to prove that they were abused at home, domestically, and all of that and stuff like that, which I think is a good thing. The one thing I've noticed on college campuses and stuff like this, and I've probably said this before, is there's like a lot of posters and ads showing men in predatory or cast in an abusive role over and over again. So I've just taken a little bit of issue with that because, I'm a guy, and white males are, now the cast as the villain in society now. So, I said something about this, of course, and I was immediately swarmed with by several people. Saying that cisgendered white male privilege is, protecting rape culture. That's what one woman, girl or young woman said. And she was supposedly friends with another person that I know. And this young woman subsequently later told me to fuck off, because I'm such a horrible person for having an opinion. And saying something that might be contrary to what they may be espousing. And I'm not, it doesn't mean I'm for women getting abused, but at the same time, I'm not for men being cast in such a light simply for the fact that they're white and male. That's not good enough these days. If you're white, you have to sort of, double down and say you're white privileged and admit to that, and you have to basically, otherwise you're racist. If you don't admit to male privilege, you're a misogynist. And you're all these other things. You're not just that. You basically, acquiesce the abuse of women and keeping them down and so on and so forth. Even though I'm pro Planned Parenthood, I am, pro equal rights, I'm pro equal pay for women. I have always been that way. I'm 45 years old. I thought the same way back in the 90s when a lot of guys, or a lot of people that I knew, didn't think that way. Even women didn't think that way. I've met a lot of women who weren't feminists, who were less liberal or were totally less liberal than I am. And that didn't sound right. They were totally less liberal than I am. And granted, I'm from 1996, but these, this whole age we live in now with these, people, these safe spaces and all this, on this National Coming Out Day, it said, it's safe to come out to me. It's like everywhere I've worked over the years, there have been at least 2-3 gay people. I've worked in a couple dozen places since high school. It's not a big deal. I mean, I'm sorry, I didn't get when this was like a big deal all of a sudden again to be gay. So, that's an interesting new thing. I mean, I know there's bigots out there that like, you know, they still don't feel that gay people should get married. I feel they should be able to get married. I don't see why they shouldn't. So because of what I said, because I was basically saying that, you know, men should, you know, what you shouldn't judge white men based on the fact that they're white men, I'm basically a horrible bigot now. You know, I'm fucking Archie Bunker. It's unbelievable, people. And and some people can get away with saying things while others can't. And here's an example, and these are just some comedians and an actor from recently. You know, years ago, this isn't even that long ago, and I've watched a lot of Sarah Silverman. I've seen her live. Sarah Silverman said, yeah, I once blew a Mexican and I had diarrhea for a week. Okay? I mean, she's gotten some flack for what she says, but not nearly as much as Roseanne did for like one tweet, which was vaguely racist. The one where she said, was that former secretary, I don't even remember her name. I know it was a while ago. And they hate me for saying that, but she said that thing where that former Obama administration staff member, or whatever she was, secretary of something or other, said that she looked like Planet of the Apes versus meets the Nation of Islam. Well, it was Obama was included in that insult that Roseanne Barr tweeted, and she lost her job. And recently I was watching this Zach Galifianakis movie. It was a movie based on his show, his little talk show parody, Between Two Ferns. And during the credits, it's not like kind of like a blooper reel, but during the credits they had some of the jokes they didn't put into the movie. And Paul Rudd said, "What happens to a Jew when he has an erection and he runs straight into a wall?" And Paul Rudd said, he breaks his nose. Okay, pretty insulting racist joke, I would have to say. But both Sarah Silverman and Paul Rudd are more well liked. They're a little bit younger. I mean, they're not like, you know, in their 20s, but they're younger, attractive people, so they didn't get a lot of shit for it and stuff like that. And much like the people who were insulting me, they were young women who are basically calling me out on my privilege, who they clearly have better lives than I do. I'm making pretty much minimum wage right now. I just got a job. I mean, I'm glad to have a job, but I'm just saying I'm not really doing that well. So my white male privilege isn't exactly kicking in here. Never really has. And I know they like to come up with a lot of bullshit reasons as to why, you know, I'm privileged and you know, Kanye West isn't. Somehow I have more privilege than Kanye West or Denzel Washington or Oprah or, you know, whoever else you can think of, or even Barack Obama, who was president and stuff like that. And by the way, we have had plenty of African Americans in, you know, the hollowed halls of power, haven't we? We've had generals, senators, and, you know, governors of states. There's, you know, been plenty of renowned black doctors, and it's what you know. I'm not saying that's the majority of the people. I'm not saying, you know, the majority of doctors are African American. Actually, they seem to be from India. No offense. But basically, just because you're white doesn't mean your life is easier or it worked out or something like that, or your success comes easier to you because you're white. Actually, it can mean the quite opposite. You know, being black can sort of bump you up the line in some cases. Okay, I mean, yeah, there's some ebb and flow to everything. But demonizing white males in the way that I've seen from these sort of snowflakey, safe space, phony campus liberals is, it's ridiculous. It's really ridiculous that they judge people like that. You know, they call themselves liberal, but that's what they do. It's just it's like that. This is what you are based on the fact that you're white. That's what you are. And it just incenses me. You know, this is where your thinking is. You know, this is what you got from that college professor who makes 6 figures a year, drives a fucking BMW to work, and is telling you that basically that, you know, if you are a white student that you're privileged, and if you're a black student you're not privileged, but you're both going to college, aren't you? You're both getting, you know, you're not over there, you know, in the military like some poor kid having to go to boot camp and getting shipped off to some godforsaken fucking country and stuff like that. So I'd say you're both pretty privileged if you're able to go to college and, you know, learn a profession or something or whatever you're doing, and go to parties and smoke dope and, I don't know, meet new people and have fun and enjoy life, versus the horrible existence a lot of other people do. A lot of kids that just come out of college, come out of high school, you know, and they got to go work at some lumber yard or some other really hard job where they're, you know, shoveling stuff all day, and working at a convenience store overnight like I've had to do, or working in a group home taking care of mentally disabled people like I've had to do, which I'm sure most of you phony liberal sacks of fucking shit would never fucking do, because you're a bunch of cowards, quite frankly. That's why you need a safe space to go to, because you're too sensitive, you know? And people think I sound like a cold-hearted conservative when I say this. No, I'm a 45-year-old person who has seen this shit evolve over the past, you know, decade or so. You know? 10 years ago, I wouldn't really be talking like this. Or, you know? That's why I'm saying this now. Because it's ridiculous. I have never seen, I've never seen a group of people, or a demographic of people, basically, and I'm saying demographic, I mean by this, by their, you know, ideology, that I can't take seriously at all. I can't. You know? I think they almost like groups like the alt-right, because they have someone to engage in, you know? I hate the alt-right. I wish they'd go the fuck away. You know? I can't stand Ben Shapiro or Glenn Beck or Sean Hannity or any of those other trouser stains. But you like those people because it gives you a reason to exist. You have something to fight, you know? You want gay people to be the same, you know, oppressed group of people like they were decades ago, even though they're not now. And that's basically really what I have to say about it, you know? If you think that, you know, because I'm a white male and what I'm saying is bigoted, I really don't care. I'm not bigoted. I know who I am. You don't tell me who I am. No one else should do that either. No one else should let somebody tell them who they are. You know? I've had asshole teachers tell me who I was growing up and bully me and telling me I was worthless. You know? I had to get past it. I had to rise above it. You know? And I'm rising above this bullshit now. And if you ever hope to actually, you know, maybe help some of these problems that do exist, you should rise above it too. I'm D.S. Yoxheimer. This has been another episode of The Spectre. Thanks for watching. If you like my videos, well, you probably don't, subscribe. And I hope you're having a fun holiday or a Halloween season. I know my dead dog Riley is. This is just adorable.